Test, 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 test. Hello and welcome back to the Victor Feud QS Fieldhouse, home of your Jackson Jets. It'll be Jets ball coming off the tip with Antonio King with it on the wing. It'll be Belton cutting up high. Gets it back on the opposite wing. Coleman to King in the corner. Campbell back out to King. King for three. No good. That'll be rebounded by Thorne. It'll be Henderson. Pearson guarding him on the wing. High ball screen now. King hedges the screen very hard, brings it up. Good for two. That'll be Daniel Lee for two there. That'll be King with it now for the Jets. Lee guarding. Belton back cuts. Goes up. No good. Misses the layup. My apologies. Xavier Ford Belton there has a great back cut and just misses the layup. Ball will go out of bounds. Schoolcraft will get possession. Be Henderson passing in for Schoolcraft. Ball into Henderson. Inside to Lee. Lee pulls up for two. No good. Rebounded by Pearson. Pearson pushes the ball up the floor to Belton. Belton looking to work here. Gives it over to Campbell. Campbell over to King. King working downhill. Pulls up for two. No good off the front of the rim. Rebounded by Campbell. Campbell up and good for two. Makes it a 2-2 ball game. 18:30 left to play in the second half. Everybody Mackay, Jackson with it now. Campbell guarding. Ball to Henderson. Deep three-pointer off the front of the rim. Rebounded by Belton. Swings it over to Campbell. A foul is called. That'll be number 33, Keon Henderson. It'll be King passing in for the Jets. Stephon Campbell cuts through. You get it over top to Joe Coleman. Ball swung over to Pearson. Pearson on top, looking to drive in, spins, loses his footing, gets the ball back, passes it away, and ends up being Belton with it in the corner. Belton loses it, gives it over to Pearson. Pearson up for three, in and out, no good. Rebounded by Lee. Henderson now looking to push the ball up the floor, working downhill. Up and good for two. Pearson with it now. Henderson guarding. Ball swung over to Belton. Thorne will guard Belton now. Ball over to King. Belton cuts. King looking to work on Lee. Turns the ball over. Ball saved and saved again. It'll be Schoolcraft pushing the ball forward. Jackson drives in. Loses it. It'll go out of bounds on him. It'll be Jets basketball. Antonio King now for the Jets. It'll be Lee guarding him. Ball over to Coleman on the wing. Henderson guarding. Up to Pearson. Ball swung over to Belton on the wing. Inside. Campbell. Campbell gives it up to King. King goes up and misses the dunk. Another great back cut there by the Jets. Jets found an open hoop, but can't just finish the bucket. Henderson drives in, gives it over to Lee. Lee for three. No good. Belton comes down with the rebound. Belton pushing up the floor. Working in on Thorne. It does. Goes up and good for two. Great dribble drive there by Xavier Ford Belton. Belton coming into this matchup averaging around 13 points per game and 50% shooting. Very efficient out of him overall this year. That being said, it'll be Henderson with it on the wing. Ball passed in. Blocked by Antonio King. Over to Belton. Belton gives over to King. Lee guarding King. Gives it over to Belton. Back to King. King passes it into Coleman. Coleman goes up over the top and good for 2. Makes it a 6-4 ball game. Jets take the lead. Around 15:30 left to play in this first half. Be Henderson now with the Campbell guarding him. High ball screen by Thorne. Henderson over the top, up and good for 2. Ties it up at 6 with 15 left to play in this first half. King will have it. Belton screening for him. Pulls up for 2. No good. Rebounded by Coleman. Coleman over to Campbell. Over to Coleman. 13 on the shot clock. Coleman looks to drive and steps out of bounds. Number 12, Cameron Carter coming in for the Jets. Henderson will have it for Schoolcraft. Carter will pick him up. Ball into Thorne. Up top Lee. Ball swung over Henderson. Reed Jackson. Pearson guarding him. High ball screen by Lee. Joe Coleman hedges. Jackson pulls up for 2. No good. Coleman comes down with the rebound. Carter looking to push the ball up the floor. Gives it up to Campbell. Campbell on the wing. Swings it back to Carter. Henderson will guard Carter at the logo. Swings over to Belton. Belton drives in. Baseline. Goes up. Underneath. Misses. No good. Ball go out of bounds. Off from Cameron Carter. The Ocelots basketball. It'll be Keon Henderson with it for the Ocelots. It'll be Carter guarding. Looks to be a high ball screen out of Thorne. Drives in on his own. Up. No good. Ball will go off from Daniel Lee's leg. It'll be Jets basketball. Ball into Carter. Carter looking to work on Henderson now. Belton cuts over the top. Swings up to Coleman. Coleman now for 3. No good. Front rim. Ball's tipped out of bounds by the Ocelots. Jets will come back with it. That'll be Dobbs coming in for Schoolcraft. Ball into Coleman in the corner. Belton looks to be falling on the floor. It'll be Carter now within the corner. Carter gives it over to Coleman. Coleman pulls up for 2. No good. Back rim. It'll be Henderson now with it. Pushes Dobbs through. Looking to get the post entry. Does not get it though. Drives in on Pearson. Up and good for 2. That'll be Daniel Lee. Schoolcraft now putting pressure on the Jets. Ball is passed up to Belton. Belton, Thorne guarding. Ball up to Pearson. Pearson over to Campbell. Over to Carter. Carter for 3. In and out. No good. Jackson looking to push the break now. Pearson guarding him. Drives in. Kicks out. Dobbs. Dobbs for 3. No good. Back rim. Carter steals it away from Lee. Slows it down. Swung over to Coleman. Back to Coleman on the wing. Over to Campbell. Campbell now for 3. No good. Cold stretch for both teams here. Looking at a 6-8 ball game. Ocelots in the lead with 12:30 left to play in this first half. It'll be Henderson now with Carter guarding on the wing. Ball is passed up to Lee. Thorne looking to post up on the backside. Belton guarding him. Lee drives in, pulls up over the top. Up and good. Floater for 2. Timeout will be called by the Jets. It'll be 23 Cooper Johnson, number 4 Jay Wambear coming in for the Jets. We're back on our way with Jets basketball. It'll be Carter with it for the Jets. Carter, corner three. Up, no good. Dobbs looking to push it over, gives over to Stevens. Carter now guarding Stevens. 2 down screen set. Ball over to Lee. Step back 3. No good, air ball. It would go off Campbell's foot. It'll be Ocelots basketball. Ball into Lee. Swung to Jackson. High ball screen by Range. It'll be a shot clock violation. Antonio King coming in for the Jets. A little bit of miscommunication there, not knowing where the shot clock was. Looked like they were kind of commanding offense over there. Luckily for the Jets, comes out as a shot clock violation. It'll be Wambear with it. Wambear over to Pearson. Jackson guarding him. Pearson over to King. King drives in, goes up. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll be Jets basketball. Like a stack look out of the Jets here. Struggling to get it in. Put it in over the top to Pearson. Ball thrown over to Wambear on the wing. Wambear drives in. Pulls up for 2. No good. It'll be Dobbs that comes down with it. Dobbs over to Stevens. Stevens with it at the logo, looking to slow it down. Range, high ball screen. 15 on the shot clock. It'll be Jackson driving in on Johnston. Goes up. Range comes down with the rebound. Goes up and good for 2. Gets the offensive rebound. It'll be Carter with it now. Over to Johnston. Johnston to King in the corner. Over to Wambear. Wambear to Pearson. Pearson back to Wambear. Wambear. Johnson. Johnson looking to drive in now. Pops it back out. Gives over to King. Lee guarding him. Gives over to Wambear. Wambear in the corner. Wambear for 3. Up and good. Great ball movement there by the Jets. It's an open shot. And finally gets one to fall. They're shooting a struggling from the 3. It'll be Stevens with it out for the Ocelots. Gives it to Lee. Lee takes a baseline. Trips. It'll be tipped off from Antonio King. It'll be Xavier Ford Belton coming in for the Jets. Stevens will pass it in for the Ocelots. Ball into Jackson. Johnson guarding him. Ball into Range. Belton guarding Range. Backs him down. Drop step up and good for 2. It'll be Carter. Gives it to Wambear. Wambear kicks out to King. King to Carter. Carter now for 3. No good off the front rim. It'll be Dobbs. Dobbs looking to work downhill on the break. And a foul is called. Be at number 0, Xavier Ford Belton. Be Joe Coleman coming in for the Jets. Also in for the Jets, number 5, Savon Campbell. Be Daniel Lee passing in for the Ocelots. Get a 9-14 ball game. Ocelots currently in the lead. It'll be Johnston guarding Stevens up near the logo. Ball into Lee. Range looking to post up. Lee drives in. Up, no good. Rebounded by King. King pushing the ball up the floor. Gives it to Wambear. Wambear gives it over to Campbell. Campbell goes up. No good. Rebounded by Henderson. Henderson over to Stevens. Stevens with it on the wing. Gives it into Range. Stolen by Campbell. The save goes out of bounds, though. It'll be Ocelots basketball. It'll be Stevens passing it in. He has it now on the wing. Johnson guarding him on the wing. Ball up to Lee. Over to Dobbs. Dobbs driving in on King. Up and good for 2. Takes him baseline. Dobbs averaging just around 5 points per game. What a great take on the baseline there for him. Gives over to Coleman. Coleman to King. Ball into Wambear. Wambear, no good. Dobbs slows it down. Now looks to drive in. Goes up and is blocked. Put back dunk there by Range. It'll be a missed shot. Range comes in and cleans it up there. Great assertiveness off the glass. It'll be Jets basketball coming out of the timeout. King now with it. Back door by Wambear. Gives over to Johnson on the wing. Johnson drives in, kicks out to Coleman. Coleman now for 3. In and out, no good. Jets can't get anything to fall from 3 this half. Everything's been in and out for them. I think that's the 4th in and out. Stevens passes it over the top to Range. Range steps out of bounds. It'll be Jets basketball. King will have it for the Jets. It'll be Lee guarding him. Ball over to Johnston. Stevens putting pressure on Johnston. Johnston breaks through, gives it over to King. King now also looking to drive in. Over to Johnston in the corner. Johnston to Coleman. Coleman drives in. Ball stolen away by Lee. Lee goes up and rim stuffs. Does not slam it through. It'll be King now on the break. Gives it over to Johnston. Johnston goes up over the front of the rim. Finger roll. Good for 2. Henderson now with it. Range setting a high ball screen. Gives it over to Range. Campbell guarding. Up and good for 2. Range is coming into play today after averaging only 3 points per game. Having a great first half so far. Ball into King on the block. King working back to the basket. Gives out to Johnston. Stevens guarding Johnston. Trying to take him baseline. Crosses back. Ball stolen away by Henderson. Wambear defending up and over the top by Henderson. Good for 2. Makes an 11-22 ball game. 6:30 left to play. Ball over to Johnston. Johnston to King. Back to Johnston. Over to Campbell. Campbell now with it up top. Driving in on Range. Over to King. King with it in the corner. Gives it over to Johnston. Johnston with it on the wing. Gives it back to King in the corner. King step back 3. No good. Coleman comes down with the rebound. Gives it over to Wambear. Wambear kicks out to Campbell. Campbell drives in now. Shot clock violation there by the Jets. Jets make multiple substitutions. It'll be Aiden Burns, Braden Pearson, Xavier Ford Belton, and Cameron Carter all coming in. It'll be Schoolcraft ball now. Stevens will have it. Give her to Dobbs. Dobbs back to Stevens. Back to Dobbs. Braden Pearson tips the pass away and gets it. Gets it up on the break. Goes up. No good. Rebounded by Burns. Kicks out to Belton. Belton to King. King back to Carter. Over to Pearson. Belton looking to post up. Looks to drive in. Kicks it outside to Burns. Burns, deep three-point range. Good! Aiden Burns. Kick out by Xavier Ford Belton. Deep three-pointer for him. Gowan will pass it in, and it'll be a foul called. That'll be on Antonio King. Ball will be passed into Dobbs up top. Burns guarding Dobbs. Dobbs works downhill. Goes up, and he is fouled. Put him at the line shooting 2. Dobbs coming in this matchup, 57% free throw shooter. He'll be averaging just around 5 points per game. And Dobbs hits the first. Dobbs looking to be in a role player, averaging just around 15 minutes and 5 points. Looking to put this second free throw through to complete the pair, and does. Ball into Burns. Burns will push it up to Carter. Carter gives it into Pearson. Pearson goes up. And 1. Braden Pearson for 2. Pearson coming into this matchup shooting 63% from the free throw line, averaging just around 12.5 points for him. Put it a 16-24 ball game. Ocelots in the lead. And Pearson will convert the and 1. Maybe Henderson with it. It's over to McGowan. McGowan over to Dobbs. Back to McGowan. Over to Henderson. Back to McGowan. McGowan gives it in. No good. Ball will be tipped around. Rebounded. Thrown behind the back. Ball moved around a lot here. Over to Henderson. Ball gives it in. Tipped away. The Ocelots come back with it again. It'd be Henderson with it. 8 seconds on the shot clock. He gives it in. Ball's tipped all around it. Jets finally come down with it. Ball's passed up to Burns. Burns goes up. And he is blocked. Pearson will give it in to King. King slams it through for 2. What a great cut there by Antonio King. Obviously, Pearson seeing the floor really well. Pearson averaging around 2 assists per game, and that's one to remember there. What a great pass there by him. Shot will be missed by Henderson. It'll come up Jets basketball as it goes out of bounds. Put Noah Range back in the game. Maybe Carter with it for the Jets. He will be working on Stevens. Give it over to King on the wing. King up to Belton. Belton to Carter. Carter gives over to Burns. Burns back to Carter. Up top, Burns. Burns now for 3. No good. Stevens will come down with the rebound. Jets in a little 2-3 zone now. Ocelots looking to break this apart. Looking at a little high-low action. Ball's tipped around. Henderson comes down with it. Cross pass blocked by Xavier Ford Belton off the glass. Ball to Cameron Carter on the wing for 3. Boom! Cameron Carter for 3. Jets looking to be on a run here. Cuts it to a 2-point ball game. 3:02 left to play. Jets in a 1-2-2 now. It'll be Stevens with it. Ball swung all around. It'll be Henderson driving in. Henderson backs it back out. Loses dribble, gives it over back to Henderson. Ball into Stevenson. Stevenson gives it over corner. Corner three. No good. Johnson will miss that one from the corner. Miscommunication there by the Jets. Thrown out of bounds. They put Daniel Lee back in the game for the Ocelots. Henderson will have it. Ocelots looking to slow down this run. Ball swung over Stevens. In the corner, Henderson. Henderson for three. In and out, no good. Felton comes down with a rebound. He is fouled. It'd be a push on Noah Range. Ocelots looking to put pressure here. Stevens. Ball pass into Carter. Gives over to Burns on the wing. King looking to post up. Ball is thrown away again. Back-to-back possessions. Back-to-back turnovers for the Jets. After coming off a great run, it's looking to slow down here on offense. Still a 2-point ball game. Ocelots in the lead. Jets look to be back into this 1-2-2. Back to Henderson in the corner. It'll be Stevens. Henderson in the corner. Pulls up. Ball is blocked by Pearson. Ball in range in the corner. Henderson. Carter guarding. Pass over to Stevens in the corner. Belton guarding him. Pulls up. Good for two. Tough shot there late in the shot clock there for Stevens. Puts it through. Jets looking to answer back after back-to-back turnovers. It'd be Belton in the corner, range guarding him. Belton drives in. Gives over to King. King working back to the basket. Gives out to Belton. Got 10 seconds on the shot clock. Need to make a quick decision. Makes a dribble move. Gives it over to Pearson. Pearson goes up and good for two. Pearson shooting a great 55% from the floor. Great score overall. Averaging just around 13 points per game also. Great contributor for the Jets. Stevens will drive baseline. A foul will be called on Xavier Ford Belton. Savon Campbell coming in for the Jets. Gives her in the range of the corner. Ball over to Henderson. Lee looking to post up. Back out to Henderson. Henderson looking to dribble drive. Gives her to Lee. Lee pulls up from 15. Foul is called. It'll be on Braden Pearson. Put Daniel Lee at the line. He's shooting just around 73% from the free throw line. And he hits the first. And he hits the second. Lee came into this game averaging 17 and 8. Huge contributor there for the Ocelots, leading in points and rebounds for them. Jets probably looking to get their last shot here. It'll be King with it on the wing. Takes it over to the corner, gives it up to Campbell back on the wing. Campbell pulls up for two. No good. Rebounded by Lee. Ocelots now definitely getting the last shot here in a 4-point ball game. Gives over to Lee. Lee working downhill on Burns. Goes up, no good. 4 seconds on the clock. Nothing will end up being called. It's like a 4-point ball game. Jets trailing. We will be back for the second half shortly. Hello and welcome back to Jackson College. Not much score updates for the Jets so far. Having 24 points, but everybody on the floor has scored so far. Their highest score is currently Pearson with 5. For the Ocelots, it'd be Range with 8 and Lee with 8. Range coming into this game only averaging 3.4 points per game. Just having a great first half so far. Lee looking to put his average on the board with 16. Thorn up, no good. Rebounded by Campbell. Campbell looks to slow it down and gets over to Carter. Henderson putting in pressure on Carter. Carter pulls up for 2, up and good. That put Cam Carter at 4 points. My apologies, 5 points on the night. Makes it a 2-point ball game. Jets trailing. Carter now putting pressure back on Henderson. High ball screen by Lee. Ball swung over to Jackson. Jackson driving in now on Pearson. Gives it over. Ball's blocked by Campbell. Campbell gives it over to Carter. Over to Coleman. Coleman slows it back, swings it around to Carter. Over to Campbell. Henderson guarding Campbell. Over to Carter on the wing. 13 on the shot clock. Got to get a shot going here now soon. Pearson drives in. Over to King. King, three-pointer. Won't go. Rebounded by Henderson. Henderson drives in. Ball stolen away by King. King looking to push it up here. Gives it over to Carter. Carter goes underneath and finishes for 2. Cam Carter already with both buckets for the Jets, and he ties it up at 28. That puts Carter at 7 points on the night. Be Henderson now without a wing. High ball screen by Thorne. Ball up Henderson. Lee now driving in on Campbell. Pump fakes, goes up over the top. No good, gets his own rebound. Goes up for the bucket. Ball be passed into King. Ball over to Carter. Henderson will be putting lots of pressure on him. Gives it over to Pearson on the wing. Ball over to Coleman. Coleman beyond the arc. Back over to King. King gives it to Pearson. Pearson working back to the basket. Goes up and good for 2. Way to find the mismatch out of the Jets there. Looks, finds the open bucket. How about Pearson at 7? Pearson and Carter both leading scoring for the Jets, both at 7. Be Lee driving in on Campbell. Looks to work baseline. Post fade out of him, no good. Front rim, rebounded by King. It'll be King pushing it up, gives it over to Coleman. Coleman working baseline now. And he is pushed out of bounds. So it'll be a foul call. There'll be Mikal Johnson-Dobbs coming in. Little shoe tie break here by the Jets. Big Carter passing in now for the Jets. King looking to work down. Coleman works over the top. Got to get the ball in. Does over the top to King. Ball over to Savon Campbell. Campbell over to Pearson. Pearson to King. Pearson cuts off from it. Goes over the top. Floater. Nice touch off the glass. Puts Pearson at 9 points on the night. Jets take the lead. For the first time in a while, it feels like. It'll be Jackson now driving in on Pearson. Working back to the basket. Gives it up. And good for 2. Great pass there by Mikal Jackson. Finds his open teammate on the block. Converts the bucket. Be Carter now with it. Gives it over to Campbell. Coleman cuts over the top. He has it now on the wing. Ball into Pearson. Pearson goes up over the top. No good. Jackson driving in now. Loses his dribble. Ball's tipped away. It'll stay Ocelots basketball. It'll be Xavier Ford Belton in for the Jets now. Ball into Thorne. Thorne working back to the basket to King. Ball is kicked out to Henderson. 14 on the shot clock. Ocelot's got to get a quick shot here. Looking to work back to the basket for Thorne. One dribble pull up for Dobbs. Dobbs up and good for 2. Another late shot clock bucket there for the Ocelots. Puts them up by 2, 32-34. Bell now gives to Coleman. Coleman in the corner for 3. Good. Joe Coleman, 3 ball from the corner. Joe Coleman, a very efficient 40% from 3. That'll be Henderson driving in and 1 for him. Put Henderson at the line. Cooper Johnson will sub in for the Jets. Henderson shooting around 73% from the line this season. And he converts the N1. Ball into Johnston. Johnson gives it over to Belton. Over to King. Coleman back cuts. Ball's tipped away and stolen by Lee. Jackson hesitation. Drives in. No shot. Foul will be called on the floor. Ian Burns will now come in for the Jets. Be ball screen for Jackson here. Gives it over the top to Lee. Ball into Thorne. Savon looking to double team. Little hook shot there. Rebounded by Campbell. Campbell over to King. King gives it to Johnston. Cutter, Joe Coleman. Joe Coleman up and good for 2. Great find there by Cooper Johnston. Great cut there by Joe Coleman. Creates a wide open, easy bucket there for the Jets. Stolen by Savon Campbell. He slows it down. Can't get a hold of it. Does finally get a hold of it. Passes it over to Johnston. Johnston gives it over to Coleman. Ball is stolen away. It'll be Jackson. Jackson working downhill. Up and good for 2. Puts the Ocelots up by 2, 37-39. 14 left to play in the second half. It'll be Johnston back with it. Working downhill. Gives over to Campbell. Campbell in the corner. Up to Burns. Burns over to Coleman. Johnson now within the corner. Over to Coleman. High ball screen by King. King pops out. Over to Johnston. Johnson over to Burns. Burns deep 3-pointer. No good. Lee will come down with the rebound. Lee now working downhill. Charge is called. Antonio King waits right for him to come down to the lane. Charge is called in the Jets' favor. Number 4, Jay Wambear coming in for the Jets. Henry Johnson gives over to Burns. Jackson looking to put pressure on Burns. Gives it back over to Johnston. Johnson gives over to Wambear. Over to Campbell on the wing. Johnson looking to post up. Gives it into him. Works over the top. And 1 for Cooper Johnston. That'll put him at the line shooting for the N1. That ties the game up at 39. Cooper Johnson coming into this game, 72% free throw shooter. Looking to convert this and 1 here. Lane violation called on the Ocelots. Johnson will get another shot at it. Cooper Johnson's averaging just around 6 points per game. Another lane violation for the Ocelots. And Cooper Johnson will get a 3rd shot at it now. Hopefully he can go 1 for 3 from the line. Can he finally convert the N1? The question of the day. And he finally does. 70% shooting like a 30% free throw shooter. Finally gets one to fall. That puts the Jets up 1. Be throwing over to Henderson. Lee driving in now on Johnston. Gives it back over the top to Henderson. Henderson, 1 dribble pull-up for 2 and good. Tough shot there by Henderson. Converts that pull-up through. Puts the Ocelots up 1. Campbell. Ooh, ball's thrown away by King. It'll be Henderson back with it for the Ocelots. Oh, over to Lee. We're going to drive in now. Foul is called. It'll be on number 23, Cooper Johnston. They're putting no range back in the game for the Ocelots. Coming for Thorne. Ball into Lee. Lee is definitely going to work downhill. Offensive foul. Jay Wambear waits for him to put his shoulder down. Works out perfectly. It's another offensive foul going in favor of the Jets. Second one this half. Earlier, King waited right in the middle lane for somebody to work downhill off him, too. He also got that. Ball stolen away by the Ocelots. Jackson goes up, misses. Henderson rebounds, puts it through. Timeout called by the Jets. Ocelots take a 3-point lead with 12:15 left to play in the second half. We'll be back shortly after this timeout. And we're back underway at Jackson College. Jets basketball coming out underneath. They'll be putting pressure now and dropping back. Not a lot of pressure there by Schoolcraft. It'll be Burns. Burns gives over to Johnston. Johnston gives it back to Burns. Burns corner for 3. No good. Rebounded by Henderson. Keon Henderson with the ball. Gives it over to Lee. Lee over to Jackson. Back to range up top. Over to Henderson. Lee slips the screen. Pulls up for 15. Good. Daniel Lee, great slip there of the screen. Finds a wide open 15-foot jump shot there for him. He's converted those all night too. Put Burns working downhill. Floater for him. No good. Back rim. Ocelots are going to push the ball up the floor now. Proceed to slow it down. Kick it out. Range cutting up top. Lee will have a 15-footer again. Good. Lee's been almost automatic from 15 tonight. Obviously putting points on the board. Gives over to Burns. Burns to Pearson. Into Johnson. Johnson gives it to Pearson. Pearson to King. Ball is tipped all around. Weinberg comes down with it. Weinberg kicks out Pearson. Pearson saves it to King. Into Weinberg in the corner. King gives it over to Burns. Cooper Johnston pulls up for 3. No good. Ball be rebounded by the Ocelots. Be Henderson with it. 7-point ball game now. Ocelots in the lead. Ball into range. Range over to Lee. Lee, 1 dribble pull up for him. And 1 good. Daniel Lee is lights out from 15 right now. Started off to a great second half. He's gone on a little 6-0, 7-0 run just by himself. And Lee converts the end one. Jets ball. Looking to get a bucket here. Slow last couple minutes for them. Campbell will roll. Range guarding him. Campbell working back to the basket. He'll go up. And good for two. Tough shot there by Stevan Campbell. Looks a little one-on-one ball there, but it ends up working out in his favor, getting the bucket. Cuts it to an 8-point ball game. Ball over Range. Range to Henderson. High ball screen by Range. Ball over Lee. Into Range. And Range travels. That'll be Jets basketball. Ball be passed into Joe Coleman. Henderson looking to put up some pressure on Cameron Carter. Ball over to Pearson. High ball screen by Wambear. Over to Campbell. High ball screen by Wambear again. Over to Coleman. Coleman. Over to Campbell. Campbell. We're going to drive in. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Got to get a quick shot here. Foul will be called on the number 10. No Range. Got to reset the shot clock for the Jets. Put some 20 seconds now to get a shot up. Into Wambear. Ball will be tipped. It'll go up top. Be out of bounds on the Jets. Coming in now for the Jets will be Xavier Ford Belton. Henderson now with it for the Ocelots. Or to Dobbs. Dobbs to Henderson. Jackson will work downhill. Floater. Falls in. Be Carter now with it. Henderson will guard Carter at the logo. Campbell on the wing. Ball is tipped up. Pearson will come with it. Over to Carter. Carter to Campbell. Campbell beats his defender. Loses his footing. Misses the layup. Comes down with it though. Goes up again and he is fouled. Put him at the line shooting 2 free throws. Stevan Campbell, 72% free throw shooter so far in the season, averaging 12 points. Also the leading rebounder for the team, averaging just around 10 rebounds. And Campbell hits the first. Cuts it to a 9-point, 43-52 ball game. Ocelots still in the lead. And he misses a second. Ball is tipped, but Henderson will come down with it. Henderson passes to Henderson. Got to be looking to get Lee a bucket here. He's been lights out. I'm guessing screen and pop here. Jackson keeps it, dumps off to Range. Range goes up and slams it through. Good dump off there. 11-point ball game. Ocelots in the lead. A travel by Cameron Carter. I believe a technical foul will be called. Yes, a technical foul will be called on number 10, Noah Range. He'll put the Jets at the line. They put Joe Coleman at the line, shooting 90% so far this season. And Coleman hits the first. And he hits the second, proving me a 90% free throw shooter by hitting both there. The Ocelots basketball. 9-point game. Jets need to get a stop here. Been slow on defense so far in the second half. Look at a change in this 1-2-2. It's worked great in this first half. Hope they can convert this to the second half. E. Henderson now with it. Ball over to Jackson. Jackson up top to Henderson. High ball screen by Thorne. Henderson denies it, gives it over to Lee. Lee pulls up. 15, no good. Offensive rebound by Thorne. Ball's on the ground. Lee will come up with it and falls for two. Ocelots on the offensive glass so far the second half. Jets not be able to get a rebound. It'll be Belton within the corner. Campbell can have a little bit of a mismatch here. Ball will be tipped away. Gives over to King. Ball is tipped and passed out of bounds. It'll be Ocelots basketball. .11 game. Ocelots in the lead. Henderson with it. Henderson drives in now. Ball's tipped away. Say Schoolcraft basketball. Put Stevens in for the Ocelots. Stevens will now pass in for the Ocelots. Ball's into Jackson. Jackson slowing down the game here. Looking to get a good bucket. Pump fake steps back for three. No good. Rebounded by King. King pushing the ball up the floor. Gives it over to Pearson. Pearson goes up and good for two. Delay a game warning on the Jets. Jets are going to put pressure now. 2-2-1 press. Ball gets into the middle. Schoolcraft will be flying down the floor now. Up and good for two. Answers back on the backside. Be Jets ball now. Ballin over to Campbell. Campbell to King. Campbell now working baseline. Goes over the top. Up and good for two for Campbell. Be Stevens with it now. They break through that press pretty easily. It'll be Henderson now. Henderson pulls up. No good. Gets his own rebound. Rebounds it again and puts it up for two. Still an 11-point ball game. Ocelots in the lead. We will be back shortly after this timeout. Be Jets ball coming out of the timeout. It'd be King with it for them. Gives over to Coleman in the corner. High ball screen by Pearson. He slips it. Gives over to Campbell up top. To King. Lee guarding King. King works back, fades away. For two, no good. Ball's tipped away to State. Jets basketball. King will pass it in for the Jets. Coleman working over the top. They give it to him. Coleman loses dribble. Now Belton comes up and gets it. Jackson will now guard Belton. He throws over the top to Coleman. Coleman pulls up now for three. No good. Front rim. Rebounded by Henderson. Henderson slowing it down. 5 minutes left to play. Still 11-point ball game. Jackson will drive up and good for two. It'd be Belton now with it. Belton working downhill. Up and no good. He'll be fouled. Put Belton at the line shooting free throws. Belton misses the first. I'm a 73% free throw shooter on the season. Put Cameron Carter in for the Jets. And Belton hits the second. B. Stevens now for Schoolcraft. Gives it to Lee. Lee over to Jackson. Jackson loses dribble. Comes back with it. Goes up and good for two. Jackson. So far, a great second half out of Jackson. 14-point game. Ocelots in the lead. Jets got to get something moving here on both ends of the floor. High ball screen by Pearson. Pearson slips it. King working downhill. Ball's tipped away. Henderson working up, gives it over to Thorne. Thorne. It's fouled by Svon Campbell. Thorne's a 49% free throw shooter so far on the season. It hits the first. Timeout called by the Jets. 15-point ball game. We'll be back shortly after this. Thorne will be back at the line, shooting his final free throw. He misses back rim, rebounded by King. Up to Carter. Carter makes a dribble move, gives it over to Pearson. Pearson with it on the wing. Pearson drives in, pulls up for two. No good. Rebounded by Carter. We go out of bounds. It'll be Ocelots basketball. Carter will put pressures on Stevens. Ball over to Henderson. High ball screen by Thorne. Jackson looking to work downhill. It'll be a carry. Number 4, Jay Wambear will now come in for the Jets. Ball into Carter. Or to Campbell in the corner. Into Carter. Up and good for 2. Spins around the rim. Henderson now driving in. Foul will be called on the floor. Behind Cameron Carter. Rebound, no good. A rebound by Campbell. Carter with it on the wing. Henderson guarding. Gives it to Campbell. Campbell goes over the top. No good. Rebounded by Thorne. Ball's tipped away. Stay Ocelots basketball. .52-65 ball game. 2:51 left to play in the second half of basketball. Ocelots currently in the lead. Ball be passed in over the top to Thorne. Foul will be called. Cameron Carter. He misses the first. Thorne a 49% free throw shooter so far in the season. And he makes a second. 2 for 4 so far in the second half of basketball for him from the line. Now Wambear will work downhill, gives to corner to Carter. Carter to King. Back to Carter in the corner. Carter now for 3. No good. Foul will be called. At number 22. Somebody Thorne. Put Wambear at the line. Shooting some free throws. And he misses the free throw. Henderson will have it now. Henderson pulls up for 3. No good. Rebounded by Campbell. Campbell up to Wambear. Ball's tipped away. Goes up to Pearson. Pearson lays it up and in for 2. Jets putting pressure on Schoolcraft now. 12-point ball game. 2 minutes left to play. Stevens with it. Gives it over to Lee. Lee up to throw it over to McGowan. Pearson guarding McGowan. Ball's tipped away. Over to Stevens. High ball screen by Thorne. He'll kick it out to Lee. Lee now for 3. No good. Rebound by Thorne. Ball's blocked by King. Wambear up to King. King, floater. Good. 10-point ball game. It'll be Stevens with it. Ball into Lee. Lee drives in on Campbell. A foul is called on Braden Pearson. And Lee hits the first. And Lee hits the second. Ball passed into Belton. Belton over to Campbell. Timeout called by the Jets. 12-point ball game. Ocelots in the lead. Back underway with Jets basketball on the sideline. There'll be Wombear passing it in. .55 seconds left to play. Foul will be called. Put Carter at the line. Carter missed the first. Misses the second front rim. B. Stevens now with it. King putting pressure on Stevens. He'll drive in and give it to McGowan. McGowan will send him through. Ball passed up over the top of Henderson. Womberg guarding Henderson. Henderson working downhill. Ball's tipped away. Campbell will come up with it. Up to Belton. Belton working downhill. Up and good for two. 10-point ball game. Shot clock's away. Ball's tipped away by the Jets. Foul will be called on Jay Wombear. Lee makes the first. It hits the second. Ball's into King. King working, pulls up for three. No good. Rebounded by the Ocelots. They'll look to dribble the clock out. 58-70 ball game. Ocelots come away with the win. Thank you everybody for tuning in tonight.